Hey, what's up, everybody? It's BDF44 coming at you with another video. All right, so just got to watching the Laker game. I was actually able to watch this one. Um, Fortunately enough, I was able to get a link. And, well, this game had so much to talk about. There's so much to unpack because it was so much wrong. So much. Um, so, where to start? Well, the Lakers played OKC. Um, in OKC, we were up by 26, so that means we did some things right early on. Putting ourselves in position to just kind of take advantage of a young team that really was kind of caught off guard, kind of shell shocked by all the stars. It seemed to me, to be honest with you, um, and we were running good things out there. We were putting ourselves in position to do well. Russell Westbrook was aggressive early on in the first quarter, got himself early triple double. You know what I mean? Made sure that he had himself a nice set of lobs and things like that to various players. Um, we had some good play out of Bazemore. We saw some good things out of Malik Monk early in the game. And some playmaking and things like that from Malik Monk in the fourth quarter, which I thought was quite phenomenal. Some high IQ stuff that really made my eyes pop. Um, Reeves did what he did as well. Very, very smart play. I think he was very helpful for us in the first half in building that 26-point lead. So there were some things out there to like, but we coughed up the lead and ultimately lost the game. Um, and to be honest with you, to be completely and utterly honest with you, what I saw was a combination of a lot of bad defensive plays, heavy legs on shots, guys just shooting the ball with heavy legs. Malik Monk had some heavy legs. Um, Even though he had made some shots early on, when he was taking some threes here and there, air balls. Uh, Carmelo Anthony, the same thing. He did not have it tonight. He shot very poorly. One of the reasons why they were able to come back is because of his poor shooting. To be completely honest with you, he was 1 for I think 7, 1 for 8, or something like that. Maybe even more than that. So he had a very bad game at OKC. Um, so defensively we have some real issues. Very, very, very serious issues defensively. Um, and that's basically what told the story in regards to why they were able to come back on that end. You see, I'm trying to avoid something, right? You get the feeling that Brandon is not necessarily saying everything. It's because, to be completely honest with you, my eyesight told me that the majority of what went wrong was just simply Russell Westbrook making bad plays down there. Offensively, tossing the ball just completely everywhere but toward Los Angeles Laker basketball players. And honestly, it was a lot of bad, repeated decisions and just jumping without actually having any destination in regards to what you're going to do when you leave the floor, which is one of the things that you learn early on not to do. If you don't jump and pass, you jump to shoot. But some players, they leave their feet for various reasons, and it's justifiable. But sometimes it can go haywire, and we saw a lot of that tonight. Um, we saw a lot of interior passes, deliberate interior lob passes to people like Dwight and AD. He was repeatedly trying to make those lob passes, and as a result, those also too turn into turnovers. Um, so I saw a lot of thinking, him trying to do certain things that we're working on, trying to master certain things that the Lakers are working on. So, it's getting a feel for things. But then there were other plays. It was just like I don't have an explanation for it, other than just bad decision making. Bad decision making by a great player. And, when what I'm learning is Russell Westbrook is not as great in the half court. Um, on this team for whatever it is, it just maybe that's just what it is. But in the half court, when you're asking him to facilitate, not so much. He's at his best when he's in transition. He's at his best when the pace is pulling the ball off the rim and then where he can take his speed and run straight into the defense, drawing defensive players so he can kick it to other players, or drawing defensive plays um, away from big men so that they can get easy dunks and stuff like that, little handoffs and things like that in the paint. That's where I gather he's at his best, when he can just, at a full speed ahead, just go straight into the paint, the teeth of the defense. That's his best attribute. And so in the half court setting, a lot of times we were trying to deliberately put ourselves in the half court against this young team so that we could run certain plays, and we were just running them poorly. That's what I was sensing out there. It was like we were deliberately putting ourselves in the half court, and it was like that was not the way to attack a young team that wants to run. They were getting into that half court setting, setting up with players like, Giddy and Baisley and Dort, who are long arm players with strength, and they were able to get out and take advantage of some of these bad passes that we were making, take advantage of some of these horrible decisions that we were making, and just get out there and run and finish plays with ease in the fast break. So if you're gonna look at anything, you're gonna look at the defense, because at the end of the day, if our defense would have held up just a little bit, some of the mistakes that we made out there ultimately would have been fine. But because our defense was so poor, if you're gonna make bad passes on top of having bad defense, ultimately you're just gonna get beat. And it just was unfortunate because we had such a fantastic lead that we ultimately gave them opportunities to just continue to take advantage of us, of our mistakes. So got to give credit to the players though over there. Josh Giddey, what a playmaker they have over there in Josh Giddey. This dude didn't make too many mistakes at all, particularly fast breaks situations, and in situations where he was able to, like Westbrook, penetrate into the defense and then make plays for others. He was doing that at a very, very consistent pace. His three-point shot was falling. He was connecting all of everything he wanted to do. He just played a very, very good game against us and really did what he does best, which is continue to crash the boards as a point guard. They got them one with that dude. He is a big player who has no problem banging, but he's also somebody who's extremely intelligent. And as his shot continues to fall, look out. I don't see any cap on this dude's upside. He just looks like a very, very aggressive player with an ability to make others better. So Josh Giddey is somebody you officially have on the radar. This is a real dude in the NBA right now. Also, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Now, me personally, y'all know I'm a big fan of Shai. But the problem with Shai tonight was I just didn't love his three-point shot selection. Now, he shot volume, and I understand that when you shoot at volume, you put yourself in a position for people to look at you and say, maybe we need to get out there and guard this dude out here. Maybe we can probably honor his three a little more than we honor him driving, even though he's so fantastic at driving, because he doesn't have a conscience and he's going to continue to shoot. So I understand volume makes the defense react. But even in volume, you got to make sure the shots you take are good shots. And I just saw him take some really, really poor three-point shots tonight. But ultimately, him putting himself in a position to continue to shoot over and over again ultimately made it so that he was able to shoot a pretty decent amount that went in. So at this point, I would say his aggressiveness also put them in a position to have a very, very good offensive night against us, mainly because we can't guard anybody. So at this point, I'm frustrated as a Laker fan just because it's like, even though I understand what's going on out there, it's still very difficult to watch. The Lakers are still trying to figure out how they can do certain things, and they're trying to deliberately work certain plays into their equation. Tonight, it was that stupid lob, that stupid drive. Westbrook drives into the paint and then just tosses the ball on some weird lob for these guys with these long arms to just deflect on each and every time. And it was like, bro, why do we continue to run this stupid play? And I'm going to be honest with you guys, truly. Vogel, I need you to have more of a feel for what's going on out there. And I know you have to manage all these egos. So in certain situations, you feel like you just got to play certain players. But it was to the detriment of the team tonight. I felt like Avery Bradley should have been on the floor for that final shot. I know we got Malik Monk. He's supposed to be our dead-eye shooter. But as I said, his legs were not there. We could have saw on the last several shots that he had attempted that he was airballing. He should not have been on the floor in that situation when you needed just one shot to win the game. That should have been Avery Bradley. Avery Bradley had been shooting the ball fantastic at that point. So I just, it's all about feel, man. Russell Westbrook had turned the ball over quite a few times. I know it's a big deal if you bench Russell Westbrook. But if it came down to it, I didn't see no reason to have him on the floor when he had turned the ball over as many times as he had. Now, granted, he probably was sent out there to do the things he was asked to do, but at the same time, it becomes a situation where the defense is confident against this guy. So now they have a little more energy about themselves. These are young players, and they were going at it. Give Derek Favors a lot of credit as well. He was able to weather the storm for that young franchise out there, one of the youngest teams maybe ever put together over there. Derek Favors was their leader, and he was playing some fantastic basketball on the defensive end and finishing his chippies on the offensive end as well. So I kept a keen eye on him. Look for him to be bought out and probably sign with a team like Miami or something like that at some point. I hope that for him, because OKC can't offer him an opportunity to win, and he's got something left in the tank. He showed us that. So, yeah, man, that's what I think about that particular player. I just felt like he was really, really impactful out there. Roby, I heard his name quite a bit out there. He was playing well. Got to give him his credit. As a young player who's trying to play that center power forward position with a lot of guys around him who can play that position. In a competitive way, he stood out for sure. Lou Dort is a guy that really stands out to me all the time. Just a fantastic two-way player. He can hit the three and light it up real quick, but what's best about him is that he's so aggressive defensively as well. He's so physical. So as he continues to grow as a player, I think his ceiling is pretty high too, because of his skill set. His big body's going to allow for him to kind of do a lot of things for himself, as well as shoot the ball as he does and play defense. So I like Lou Dort. I think his future is going to be pretty damn bright in this league. So it was a lot of good to say about that OKC Thunder team. I know they've started the season. They've had some poor showing. I even mentioned it on this channel that they should be putting a better product on the floor. Well, they did that tonight. I think they're starting to put it together. And like I said, Josh Giddey, I know SGA has the ball in his hands. He's a fantastic player. He can do a lot of things for you, including, make other people better. So it's a beautiful thing that you have a backcourt with another player like that who can do pretty much similar things in regards to getting others involved and being aggressive and getting his own shot. What you saw out there tonight was the Lakers not really knowing who to guard down the stretch of the game, because we were crowding out SGA because we were aware of what SGA could do. But what we're going to realize now after playing this team is that Josh Giddey is an even better playmaker. So if you're going to crowd SGA and put the ball in Giddey's hands, he's going to make a play for somebody else and score the ball. So we saw a lot of his playmaking ability tonight, and I think it taught us a whole lot about what we can expect from this OKC team going forward. As the years progress, they have multiple playmakers that can go at it. It will be aggressive, and they both rebound. So look out. That's going to be one of the better backcourts in the future. I can see that right now. That's establishing. So, yeah, man. A lot of like about the OKC Thunder. But as far as the Lakers, it's just, Russell got, kicked out of the game at the end. He had turned the ball over, and Baisley had gone the other way, dunked the ball, and I guess he did something. Maybe he did something extra on the dunk. I don't know. But I think Russell wanted him to run the clock out instead of, making a highlight. And so he got in his face, and it became a little scuffle, I guess. Lightweight stuff, nothing too serious, but it ultimately got him kicked out of the game. So instead of getting that standing ovation that he deserves when he goes to OKC, he ended up, having his night end that way. And of course, the story will be that it was his turnovers and his fault and his basketball mistakes that ultimately cost us the game. And your eyesight will probably tell you the same. But I think ultimately a lot of what went wrong out there was him trying to continue to do what it is that he's being asked to do. The emphasis tonight was get the bigs involved, and it was a situation where I just felt like he started getting frustrated with some of the stuff that was going on out there, and then as he started to get frustrated, more mistakes started to get made. And when you have your supporting class not really making the type of shots that they normally were making, shots that were falling in Staples that weren't really falling here, you're going to have a lot of lost possessions defensively where guys just get frustrated and don't really want to give you the effort. So I sensed a little bit of that going out there. When the shots aren't falling and they're falling short, that also translates to guys usually not having legs on defense. So it was just some fatigue. It's a back-to-back, and it showed against a team that, you're up by 26. That's another thing. When you get up by 26, then you say, okay, let's start running stuff. Let's see if we can pull this lob play off that we can't seem to get right in practice. Let's see if we can get it now, because we're going to win, right, anyway? Can't do that, especially when you don't understand the personnel you're going against. There were situations out there where we were leaving Josh Giddey open for wide open threes, like he can't hit the shot. And I understand that if you scout on him, they say he can't hit the shot. But if you've been watching highlights of OKC, he can hit the shot. We were leaving him open, and he was just stepping right into it. And it's like, yo, how many times are we going to let this young fella, in a situation where they're coming back with momentum, hit these shots? And that was another thing. It was like, yo, OKC were doing the wrong things. Around the 7 or 8 minute mark, they were kind of doing things that weren't helping themselves. And the Lakers were putting themselves in a position to kind of take the game back in control. Missing momentum shots, turning the ball over, not playing defense. They were doing all the right stuff to get the game back. The Lakers were also doing all the right stuff to assure that we weren't allowing them to feel bad about any of the mistakes they were making. And that was something that really bothered me. You got to make teams pay for the mistakes that they make. If they turn the ball over, we don't have any business running some half-court play that has nothing to do with anything that's going to help us within this game. Get the easy basket. It was a lot of thinking out there. So I think I want Frank Vogel. He's going to have to loosen up. And then from there, he's going to have to tell his team to loosen up. While we're still trying to run plays, we're still trying to do all these things to get better early. What's happening is we're losing games we're supposed to win. And that can affect seeding. Okay? That can affect who you play and win. And while you think you can beat everybody, if you're not healthy, there are certain matchups you do not want. And you definitely want control over that when the time comes. I just feel like, with the type of talent that's out there, we're going to want home court. So losing games like this when you're up by 26 against a bad OKC team, yeah, it may not mean nothing right now to you, but believe you me, at the end of the season, you're going to be counting them victories, you're going to be counting them losses. This was a loss that should not have happened. My name is BDF44. I think I'll leave it at that. There's more to say. Oh, trust you me, there's more to say. And also, I'll say this. DeAndre Jordan has been playing better. I thought he should have been out there at the end. I know everybody's on the bandwagon of small ball is the way to win. I know people saw plays out there where we had Dwight Howard on the floor, and maybe we didn't convert where we otherwise would have if we had more shooting on the floor. I get that. But I just feel like a lot of our issues are rebounding and defensive. And while we may forego some shooting, at least we'll have some size to deflect some passes and to deflect some things. We were better when DJ was on the floor tonight. We were better when Avery Bradley was on the floor tonight, because he gives us some perimeter defense that we otherwise don't have with our other youngsters. So, shooting guards, rather. So at this point, I say some adjustments will help. Some tough conversations with some players will help as well, to say we're going to press the right button to help us win the game. If that means we're going to go with this guy, we're going to go with this guy. If it means we go with that guy, we're going to go with that guy. Because I think we didn't do that tonight, and it cost us the game. I really believe that. Those hard politic type situations, I think that cost us a basketball game, because at the end of the day, it was very clear to see who could play tonight and who couldn't. And we played the guys who couldn't just because of who they were. So that's what I saw out there, and I think we can remedy that. My name is BDF44. Thank you all for watching. I'm out.